Welcome back to the channel there, Budheads. Just wanted to talk to you real quick again about another documentary that I watched. I've been diving deep into the Amazon Prime music content out there, and it's pretty good. Kind of feel like the well has become dry over there in Netflix, and switched over to Amazon Prime there to just kind of see what they had for music content. And this documentary that I recently watched was called Other Music, and I believe it came out in 2019. 2020, so it's still pretty new and fresh. But what it's about is a eclectic record store in New York City, that sold very unique tastes in music, very fringe artists, to the point where like some of the artists that were on the shelves at this record store, there may have only been 10 copies of the record ever made of whatever that music was. Some of those records may even have been made by the artist. Nonetheless, some of the notable characters that they interview in the documentary are actor Jason Schwartzman, as well as there's highlights of big name acts like Conor Oberst that came through that record store. And the record store kind of served as this kind of what our online playlist curators are today, where the people that worked there would really guide the customers into what was hip, what was cool, what was the next big thing from off the shelf there. One thing that, for me, that this documentary really emphasizes is that no matter what your sound is, no matter what your talent level is, no matter what your songs sound like, whatever your sound is, there is an audience out there for you, and you need to go out and find it. And that really is kind of the underlying theme for me as an artist watching this documentary is about. That, you know, so maybe you don't have the formulaic songs that we all hear on mainstream radio. Maybe you're into some far out experimental electro stuff. Maybe you're into some singer-songwriter stuff that just doesn't really have a home on a radio station. Whatever it might be, the point is that you have an audience, and it's up to you as the artist to go out and find it. A very good documentary, and just in that regard, and that it really emphasizes kind of the freaks and geeks of the music industry. That not everyone that does music, that writes and records their own music, is doing it to reach the mainstream stratosphere level, the rich and fame and whatnot. A lot of the artists that came through that record store's shelves, most of us probably have never heard of. And they're just people like you and me, right? So many artists out there that are putting their stuff out on Spotify, on iTunes, and we may never ever hear of them. It just is that. There might be 10 people that hear that song. But that's what this record store was for its time. It was curating all those fringe artists out there that may only have 10 copies of their album, or may only have 5 people that show up to a show because their stuff is so far out there and it just doesn't catch on. There's a place for that. That's the point, is that there is a place for that. There is an audience for that. People like finding that new... People want to be in on the ground level of an artist, right? And I think that's so much of what this record store was promoting was, hey, this is new, this is fringe. This is going to be the next big thing. Maybe they would be, maybe they wouldn't be. Nonetheless, people really like it. People bought records. It was a very successful record store for the longest time. Unfortunately, they did have to close. The documentary doesn't really explain why, except for in the very beginning. There's a title slide that talks just in one sentence that just due to increasing lease amounts that they had to close. But the documentary itself doesn't go into that aspect of it. It's really more of kind of just capturing the legacy of this record store called Other Music. But yeah, anyway, it's a pretty good one. It's about an hour and a half long. Very interesting characters, from the owner to the workers to the artists to the customers that patronize this record store. That was, oh, by the way, right across the street from another very prominent national franchise chain of record stores, Tower Records, which just adds to the quirkiness of the story. But nonetheless, I think the biggest takeaway for me of it was just, you know, if you're a freak, if you're a geek, if you're on the fringe, if you're not like everyone else, but you still like making music, recording it, and getting it out there, do it. Keep doing it, because there is an audience for it. So anybody that's watching this video, the message I got out of the documentary, and please do watch it for yourself and see what you get out of it, is let that freak flag fly, man, and make your march to the beat of your own drum when it comes to your art. Do it and find the people that dig it. And so with that, Budheads, if you watched it, let me know what you thought of the documentary in the comments below. Hit the subscribe button. I appreciate the support. Hit the like button, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for tuning in, guys.